Hey everyone, so I am back today to take a look at another distortion pedal that I wound up acquiring here. This is the Digitech Metal Master Heavy Metal Distortion Pedal. So it's good to get back to some of these distortion pedals, and this one kind of had a reputation. I saw one for a really good price after stopping in at Sam Ash after hearing that their stores were closing. And, I just thought it was kind of a good opportunity to pick something like this up just to try it for one of these videos. I didn't have high expectations because I was kind of familiar with some of its reputation, but let's take a look at it. I've been playing the Telecaster for a ton of videos here recently, so I've gone to my Jackson Randy Rhoads guitar, and let's see, I'm using the Simplifier once again here. So right now I'm set to the Marshall amps, green speakers, 4x12 cabs, and everything. Here's my clean tone. And with the Metal Master, again, guitar straight to this, and then into the input of the Simplifier. Yeah, so nothing amazing right now. Let's turn up the volume. It gets louder, but it's not like it gets any fuller. It feels, the Simplifier is great for making the guitar sound very present and almost like, make you forget in some cases that I'm wearing headphones when I'm listening to this thing, that it's not actually in the room. This thing sounds, I guess processed would be a word for it. But also, to me, it doesn't sound very present the way that we're using it right now. So I did look up the manual on this already, and looks like the way the controls work is that it's kind of a parametric setup. It's not like all the way to the left is 0 and all the way to the right is 10. I believe it's more like when it's straight up noon on both of these two controls that you've got like no boost or cut to the low or high frequencies, and then if you drop down from there, you're cutting the low end. If you go past noon, then you are boosting those signals. And then as far as the morph goes, let's see, in the manual, I had it here, let's see, the morph knob morphs between 3 different metal distortion voicings. The minimum position is a smooth high gain tone, so that would be, I've got it set right now, 12 o'clock position is a scooped mid-range, and maximum position is a punchy mid-range heavy metal sound that really cuts through the mix. So, kind of interesting, you don't have a mid-range control here, but this would take you from smooth to scooped to boosted, so let's mess around with that some. I guess let's cut the lows down. Yeah, that definitely takes the lows out. Boosting the lows isn't too bad. It's not like it gets too wolfy right here. Let's do the same thing with the highs. It's kind of okay, low sound. Whoa. Sorry about that. That's a powerful high range going into the front of this thing. And then with the morph, so this is kind of like the flat response. Now, scooped mids. So like, Metallica is typically kind of scooped. And then boosted mid-range. That's kind of, Slayer is what I think of as more like boosted mids, and Metallica being more scooped mids. Kind of flat there. So I guess you can kind of like find a sweet spot in between there with them too. So yeah, that's interesting. Of course, I'm on the Marshall sound. Probably not going to sound that great, but let's go to the Fender stuff. Fender amp. Like I really have to bring up the volume on the pedal to match it closer to the uncompressed clean tone that you get from this. Okay, and then let's go up to the Vox. So there's the Vox just on its own. With that. Turn down the level a little bit more. But see, then it's like way louder when you go to the clean tone though. So I like to be able to balance that out a little bit better. Let's mess around a little bit more. I'm going to go back to the Marshalls. Mess with the speakers. So that's to the blue speakers. To the black speakers. Let's stay on the black and go to the 1x12. Let's go to the middle one, the 212s. Roll over to the blue speakers. It's kind of cool. And then, let's see, stay on the 212s and go back to the green. That sounds okay. Let's go back to the 412 on one of them. The left side is now the 412, right is the 212. Might be easier to tell the differences for yourself if you're wearing headphones with this. I'm wearing headphones right now. So, yeah, I can see the reputation that it's living up to, running it into the front of the Simplifier here, which would be like running it into the front of your amp. So let's maybe mess around a little bit with it here, because what I found with some of these pedals from this era, the early 2000s, there's that, if they don't sound that great running through the front of the amp, then what might need to happen is running it through the effects loop or something, almost replacing the front of the amp and using this as a preamp. I'm not sure what is going on with that, what the phenomenon is about. I know in the manual for this thing, it said Digitech's exclusive audio DNA technology, which is what makes the Metal Master more than your standard distortion stop box. Rather than working from a single distortion type circuit with tone controls, the Metal Master features a morph knob, which blends between 3 totally different metal distortion types. So that's what I kind of already explained with that. But yeah, let's see what happens if we bypass the preamp side of the Simplifier here and what's going on. So I'm gonna grab another one of these first. Look from here. Right, now guitar is gonna go straight into the Simplifier first. The send is gonna go to the input of the Metal Master, and the output is going to go to the return there. So, okay. Let's put it back. Yeah, around there again. So back on the Marshall settings, 412s, greenbacks, and everything. And let's see what happens when I kick it on. Already like it way better, personally, especially for the volume. Level makes a much bigger difference. And something else too, so we have the level knob, which affects the overall volume of this thing, but there's no distortion control. It's just set to distortion. This is not something you can roll off and make it go clean. Even at the lowest levels there, you still got distortion coming through. Sound. Boost the low. Okay. Yeah, it definitely gets wolfy, with that. So be more careful with the low control, doing it this way than if you're going through the front of the amp, especially with the highs. The high was really harsh going through the front of it, so I'm not going to take it up near as high. That's about 3 o'clock, and that's as high as I want to go with it. Now let's mess with the morph knob, so all the way down, flat response. Bringing it up to the scooped mid. Alright, and and the boosted mix. So definitely more usable with this. I already know I like this better, but let's see how it affects those other amps. So I'm on the Marshall right now. Let's go to the Fender. Okay, let's go to the Vox. Go back to the Marshall, mess with the speakers, green back to the blue. To the black speakers. There we go, back to that. And let's do one more. Let's unplug some of this stuff here. And let's run the guitar, completely skip the preamp side of this, go straight into the Metal Master, and then from there, we're going to go straight into the return of the Simplifier. So no volume control at this point when the pedal is off, plugging in to the return here. So I'm going to start with the level lower because I don't have, like, this is out of the loop now. Level knob is powerful. Let's cut the lows. Boost the lows. It's a little powerful in the low end. Let's cut the highs. Let's boost the highs. Okay, and the morph. Let's right now. Let's put it to the kind of level. This is cut mids. This is boosted mids. There we go. Okay, same thing. Well, I guess since I'm not plugged into the front of this, none of this will make a difference. The tone controls, preamp or post-amp, gain, it's all just going to be in the speakers now. So let's go from 412s to 112s, back to 212s, back to 412s, and let's go blue speakers, black speakers, back to the green bass. Cool. So, yeah, what do I think of this? I understand what people feel about it, and, you know, a pedal being versatile across whatever amp you're using can make a big difference there. Sometimes really good pedals don't sound the best with certain guitars, certain amps. I feel like this one is not in that class, though. I feel like it's just going to take your signal and do the same thing with it. Maybe if I tried different guitars, it might sound a little bit different, but I think that that what's happening here is just a lot of processing with the signal. So of the three routing options that I tried, you know, running straight into the Metal Master and then to the Simplifier, and then having my guitar go to the Simplifier, and then having the effects loop as the second option, and then what I'm doing now, guitar to pedal, pedal to effects return. I think that the second option is probably the one that I like the best, followed by the third option, and then obviously the first one, not the best tone. And part of what I don't like about the first one is just the boxy feel of it. It feels like it carries through the chain from there forward. Like the simplifier or even just a regular amp seems like it doesn't really like to take the signal that comes off of this pedal and then put it through all the processing. So yeah, it's I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but it's something that I've noticed with this and certain other pedals as well. Now, when you have the amp part of it, like the right now I'm not using any of the preamp side, so I can control some of the tone from this, but it's very limited. I have this and I have the speaker control, whereas on that second option where I'm running into this, if I turn the pedal off, it's not going to just go to a unrestrained direct signal. It's actually going to have some Marshall, settings behind it, some Vox, some Fender, if that's going to be my clean sound behind it there. So I think that's the best option would be to have this in your effects loop, something that you can kick on, and then because like I said, it's going to take whatever signal you put into it, and it's going to make it sound like what it thinks it should sound like. Whether that's a raw signal coming direct from the guitar, or whether it's coming from your amplifier and an already processed sound. It seems to take that better and not make it so boxy. I don't know if it's the way that this goes to amps that does that, but yeah, it's definitely not like a present tone is how I would think of it. So who needs this pedal? In 2024, not a ton of people. If you're a collector, maybe track one down if you see it for a good price. It is definitely not worth splurging on. If the price ever shoots up over $100 on these things, just don't go for it. I got this one. I think it was marked at like $45, and then it was 5% off of that because Sam Ash was closing. And, maybe if they weren't closing, I wouldn't have even got it, but I kind of wanted to leave with something, and this seemed like a good return to distortion pedals. So, yeah, it's something that I have a hard time recommending just because there's so much better stuff out there now. There was a time when it was like this whole line was kind of the newest thing, but that's been a long time ago, and if you don't have nostalgia for it, it's there's better things out there on the market. I am, however, probably still going to hang on to it and use it for some other videos. I am really curious to see how it mixes and stacks and blends with other distortion pedals. Things. I've got a few other Digitech distortions that I might try mixing it with, or maybe just some kind of light overdrives and see if what kind of sounds I can come up with that. But I'll go ahead and wrap this one up for today. It's already gone longer than I was expecting to talk about the Metal Master, but I hope that this has been helpful, informative for you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks.